Hi, this is Nick Hamilton, and this is Motorsport Radio.
Welcome to a very special report on Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester. Hello and welcome. Today we are going to be talking to the brand new, newly announced, making the switch over to the States, IndyCar racer for 2018. It is Jordan King. Hello and welcome, Jordan.
Hello.
Well, it's a decision really that's took a lot of people by surprise, you moving to the States and IndyCar, but I presume it's not something that took you by surprise. Just tell us why.
Well, it's been a thought in the back of my mind for probably the best part of 18 months now. First went out to see IndyCar back in Sonoma 2016 at the last race there, met everybody, kind of saw the lay of the land, and it really kind of grew from there. Midway through 2017 I started actually talking properly, more formally with teams and everything, and eventually got to agreement just before the end of last year.
It's certainly it's an exciting prospect as well, because there's a growing British contingent on the IndyCar grid. For those who haven't been following it for the past few years now, you're going to be lining up on the season on some of the ovals as well, with Max Chilton and also Jack Harvey and Stefan Wilson as well. You must be very excited.
Yeah, I'm not just excited about racing against fellow Brits, but the whole thing, put together. There's some very good drivers out there. It's a completely new experience for me, and I'm actually quite excited about the possibilities of going forward and starting my career over there.
So, I mean, you are still quite young, has to be said, and you have been spending the last few years in Formula 2 and GP2, as it used to be called. Why was that not an option? Why could you perhaps not continue in there? Or was it, do you think, maybe better for your career to move over to the States and continue things there?
Yeah, it's a career choice at the end of the day. There's a bit of a ceiling in that side of the world in Formula 2 and Formula 1 at the moment isn't really a career viable option for most people, and it just makes it very tough squeezing the edges in that side of motorsport. And IndyCar had some real prospects of being a great career, having great fun, and actually going over and doing some great racing.
Now, have you actually tested in any of the cars? Have you actually got to see them and have an actual go in them?
No, I'm afraid not actually driven an IndyCar yet, so it'll be my first time in a couple of weeks. Yeah,
there's when the official tests start, I think. Are you scheduled for like some of the later tests in February?
Yes, there's a couple of tests. I think I've got 4 pre-season tests off the top of my head. I might be mistaken, but I think it's 4 pre-seasons, so I should have plenty of time to get my head around it. At the end of the day, it's a car. It's got 4 wheels, an engine, and a few pedals and buttons to press. So I should be okay. Fingers crossed.
You make it sound simple, to be honest, but really, it will be. I'm sure you've already anticipated it. A bit of a culture shock as well, and a culture change as well.
Yes, it is going to be tough. I like to look on the bright side of, I can drive a race car, so why can't I drive this one? But it is going to be a steep learning curve. There's lots to take on board, and yes, they speak English, and as we say there, our cousins over the pond, but it is still going to be very different. They have their way of doing things, and there's a lot of other stuff I'm going to have to learn. I know I'm not racing the ovals, but the ovals are another ball game altogether. So, really it will be a tough year to get my head around it all. But hopefully I can do a good job and be kind of challenging for good finishes.
I have no doubt, Jordan, that you will do a good job of some description, whatever you measure that yardstick to be as good. But talking about the ovals, is that something that is to you maybe a highlight or something that you'd be looking forward to more than some of the road courses?
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to more than the road courses, but I am looking forward to it. It's a new challenge. I like challenges in my life, so anything like that is exciting for me. I think something like driving on the Indianapolis Speedway has got to be up there in kind of moments in history where you can say, I did that. And I'm generally just looking forward to the whole experience, the whole challenge that is ahead. I should have a couple of tests on the ovals, get to learn them, and that really is looking forward to 2018 to build myself up to a full-time driver in the future.
I was having a quick look at some of your stats over your career, going back a few years, and you last won a race in 2016 in GP2 with your old team, Racing Engineering. And I understand, I hear on the grapevine that it was actually one of your old Racing Engineering teammates who actually kind of talked you into moving into IndyCar. Is that along the right lines?
Not so much talked me into moving. I spoke to Alex. I went out to America at the start of December to see the team and everything and kind of get a lay of the land, and then met up with Alex and Connor Daly actually. We sat down for a few hours and had a good catch up, and obviously spoke about IndyCar, and it was more just nice to hear from two people I know, I race against and trust, their experiences and them saying how they enjoy it in America. Someone like Alex has spent his whole racing career in Europe. So for him, actually going back to America was different for him, even though he's been American. And it was quite nice for him to say, oh, actually, no, I was a bit sceptical about it, but I like it over here, it's this, it's that, and it just kind of confirmed in my mind that, it is going to be the right choice for me.
There's been an effort by the Mazda Road to Indy ladder, I suppose it is now, to solidify that ladder and make sure, just like to sort of mirror the FIA's way of doing things, really. And now it's starting to sort of reap the rewards in that it's made the entire IndyCar or the Road to Indy system a lot stronger, a lot more world talent is going over there to head into IndyCar as well, and that's of course made IndyCar a bit stronger as a series. Is that did that have any effect on your decision to go over and join it, or was IndyCar always perhaps something that you did look into doing anyway?
I don't think it had an effect on me moving over there, as the actual kind of road to Indy, as they call it, was a bit behind me in my career progression. By the time I was making that decision to move to Indy, I couldn't have gone back and started off in the Mazda series. So I suppose I was past that in my development. But for anybody starting up their racing career, that definitely has to be an option. So then, you have to seriously think about that being your option to get to the top level of a racing championship and do well, as it's proven it's done well, and it is a feasible way of achieving that goal. As for me, making that change, as I mentioned, I did think about Indy Lights, but it didn't really make sense to do it when there was, a genuine career and commercial prospect to race an IndyCar. So that was why I got to that decision in the end.
You have previously been a test and development driver for the Manor Marussia F1 team, as many people listening will already know. Do you think, tell us, in your opinion, how come there's not enough people, perhaps, making that step from something like FIA Formula 2 into Formula 1? And sometimes some people just jump in the queue entirely, which annoys some drivers, I know. But why do you think that is? Is it all purely down to money, or is it something else?
Yes, money is a big factor, and there are other things, and there's a lot of politics involved. But I think the situation you have is Formula One isn't in a very healthy state from a political point of view. My personal view of it. You've got domination from very wealthy individuals and teams, and then you've also got individuals who want their drivers or certain individuals to succeed, and they make that happen and block the way for other people getting there. So I think that is the fundamental issue, is that there's very much politics getting in the way, and people kind of looking after their own back more than the greater good. And the feeling I get with America is it's not like that. They just want to see good racing with good drivers, and that's what they get. And there is less politics involved, and the sport is run very much by the fans, not the teams and the kind of governing bodies.
I suppose, yeah, in that way you are kind of right. It seems that there isn't as much behind the scenes politics seemingly dominating everything like you said there is in Formula One, and I think a lot of people can probably agree with that, with the vested interests and such. Not that there aren't any in any other types of motorsport, but like you said, more so probably in Formula One as well. For you as well, when did you realise that getting into Formula One was going to be maybe unachievable, that you had hit perhaps your sort of top ceiling in European motorsport?
Well, Manor was a serious prospect for me, as I'm sure you're aware. I did testing with them and got Friday morning practice, and it was a serious chance for me there. Unfortunately, the latter happened, and they're no longer here. So I suppose post them failing to make it to the grid in 2017, that made me lift my head up and look elsewhere at where I can go and be of use and make a great career for myself.
Did you have any pre-agreement with them to race? Should they have made it into 2017 or something like that?
I can't tell you exactly, but I was talking to them about it. My idea was to be in their race car at some point, and there was prospects of that happening. But yeah, it's a made up question because the team no longer exists, so it never happened.
Yeah, sorry to I don't know, I suppose rake over the what ifs and stuff, but turning back to 2018, it is possibly one of the most brightest positive starts to a season that you'll be enjoying in many years, if I can say that, John, because truly once again on the world stage in IndyCar with a very decent team as well.
Yeah, it's a completely new start for me. In that sense, I'm really looking forward to getting out there, giving it my best. The team seem like a great bunch of guys. They're not a Penske, who seem to have won everything the last few years, but they can win races. They seem to do a good job. Great bunch of guys. Ed and Spencer both seem really nice as well. And I'm genuinely looking forward to getting stuck into IndyCar. It is the top of motorsport in America, which is a very big place that we seem to forget in Europe sometimes in motorsport. So, as I said, I'm kind of actually just trying to pass my time until my flight next week. So I'm really looking forward to getting over there, jumping in the car, seeing what it's all about, and hopefully making a difference to their racing and my racing over there.
And what's the plan for the season for you? Do you think you'll be staying mostly in the States, maybe renting an apartment somewhere, or will you be diving back and forth?
No, I will be staying over there. I'll probably come back over the winter months, so come back home, see family, friends, relax, and all that, and kind of use the UK as actually a bit of a holiday for me. But during the season, I'll be staying out there and maybe once or twice pop back. But I very much will engross myself in the whole process of becoming an IndyCar driver. No, there's lots of things I need to get done. I'm speaking to a lot of my sponsors and partners over the years about the move to IndyCar and other prospect sponsors. And you mentioned apartment, that's another thing. And there's lots of stuff that I need to sort out, and I've only got a week to do it. So I think I'll be busy at home trying to organise everything before I go.
I think we forget about the less glamorous things like you say, just like arranging an apartment, finding somewhere to live, and doing the little things like organising a visa, which you think, oh yeah, of course I need to do that, but we never actually think about it. We just think, oh well, of course, I'm sure they'll have people for that or something like that. But
yeah, there's all the other stuff. Obviously I've got to kind of pause my life in England as well, so I've got to sort my car insurance out in the UK and all those little things. So the next week or so I'll just be on the phone and behind the computer, I think, before I head out and get stuck into the glamorous stuff, as you just said.
Well, I certainly wish you all the very best of luck this season, and hopefully, Jordan, it will be the start of a very long IndyCar career, if that is indeed what you do want.
I hope so. I hope so too.
Yeah. So, and we will certainly try and get you back on Motorsport Radio as well through the season after your first big success. So,
that sounds good to me.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us today.
No problem at all. I'll talk to you in a bit.
Hi, I'm Callan O'Keefe, and this is Motorsport Radio.
You can have it till you can't take no more.